You are watching Motherless Daughter
with Deborah Adams and Cordelia Cranshaw.
Hi everyone, my name is Cordelia Cranshaw and I am here with my mother,
Deborah Adams.
And we have decided to start our YouTube channel called Motherless Daughter. The reason why I came up with the name Motherless Daughter, essentially at first it was something that I felt like resonated with me growing up without my mom, and then it all made sense that my mom was actually adopted and she grew up without her mother as well, so it actually was very fitting. I thought it was going to be a title that was maybe offensive at first, but it just ended up working out. So I think you said you enjoyed that name, right?
Yes.
Thought it was a good name. So yeah, so Motherless Daughter is going to be the name of our YouTube channel in this series where we're just wanting to share with the world and share with others our lived experiences and how we've been able to grow and build our relationship and overcome so many obstacles and challenges that we've been able to overcome. So to give you a little bit of background, well, Mom, why don't you start since you were born before me?
Well, and I also feel like so many people have asked about our story and inquire or say, oh, you should write a book. And I felt that this was a better avenue for both of us because we're both not like sit-down writers. And so this would allow us to explore some things and develop. Because so many people do ask about how my relationship now is with my family. And so a little bit about me, I was born in 1967, and I was born to a teenage mother, and I was adopted into a military family. And for me, the Motherless Daughter title is twofold exposed because even my adopted mom wasn't in my life. So I felt that that was a very good explanation of really how we were raised. And so I ended up in an adoptive family, and it was dysfunctional, and ended up a ward of the court at 13, which we will get into later. And that's the journey of, you have siblings, 4 other siblings, and just a journey that's going to talk about the addiction and the struggle and choices that I made that weren't always the best choices, and how all of this has sort of led us down a road of our passion now.
Yeah, so tell them what you're doing now, Mom.
So actually, I learned Braille while I was in prison, and came home and was fortunate enough to go and work for the American Printing House for the Blind. And while I was there, I realized many people didn't get the same opportunity that I got. And so I opened a company to be able to allow people coming home the same opportunity, that there would be work for them right away, and that self-sufficiency is so important with reentry, and it's scary. And so this way I was able to help people and give back in a way that they wouldn't have been able to receive like I did. And then today I actually got a job at working in reentry. So I will be working with the Federal City Rehabilitation Centers in District of Columbia. So that also is now an exciting journey for me.
Very exciting. And then as for me, my lived experiences after my mom went to prison when I was 12 for an extended period of time, and my dad was a drug addict and alcoholic, I eventually ended up in the foster care system, and through those experiences it inspired me to go on and become a social worker and to be a foster systems advocate. So I think our biggest message and purpose is that we have been able to use our lived experiences to become advocates in those systems and in those arenas, to be able to empower others that despite what you're currently going through or what you're currently facing, it does not determine your future success. If you look at some of the statistics where we've come from, you know, a returning citizen or a youth that ages out of foster care, you don't typically see what we're doing today, which is going back into those systems, going back into that community, and trying to give back and provide the tools for success.
I also think one of the things that's going to be beneficial for us is that we don't mind talking about the elephant in the room.
Right.
We are not, our relationship and our family believes in talking about everything.
Yes.
And I think the hard part is that a lot of families avoid the elephant in the room. I mean, we talked about my addictions, we've talked about my criminal behavior. Those aren't things that we've hidden under the rug. And I tell people all the time, people ask, well, why don't you just say it's your former life? And I don't like that term, because if I say former, that's telling my children that they didn't live the experience you lived while I was gone. It's our life experience, and so it needs to be addressed. And we can talk about it freely now, a lot easier than we did 6 years ago, or even while I was there. But we've learned that that's part of our life and part of our message to people. And so I think that's another asset that we're going to be able to give to people, is our willingness to face it head on.
Yeah, and everyone's family goes through dysfunction. All families are dysfunctional. Everyone has their issues or the things that they face in life. And I always tell people I am such an open book. I don't mind sharing my story and my experiences. Sometimes I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I'm just excited to share with you all. We have a bunch of different topics that we're going to dive into over these just next few recording sessions, and we're going to share them with you. And we hope that you can apply this to your own life, or learn, grow, take something out of it, become a leader in your community, be inspired to just use our stories and maybe learn from some of our mistakes, or learn from some ways that we've been able to rebuild or grow as a family. We hope to have maybe some special guests on the show, like my brothers or my sister, just to kind of give their perspective as well. They also have went through and grown through the same experiences, and I think it's important to hear the different perspectives and dynamics of the family, because we all dealt with when you went to prison, when I was 12 for 10 years, we all dealt with that differently. And my brothers are 4 years older than me, and so they had a little bit more life and experience before I came around as well. So we're just super excited to share this with you all. We hope that you will subscribe and tune in, and we look forward to hearing your feedback.
Yes, please, if you have questions or you're interested, please dive in with us, because we're willing to talk about any topic. I know that in the beginning of this, the roles were even different. Cordelia was more of a mom to me than I could be to her. So, I mean, we've been through all aspects of that, as well as rebuilding our family in their correct roles, that I'm mom and you all are my children, and understanding what those boundaries are. So we are open to any questions.
Yes,
we're not licensed. We're doing this all based on life experience, but I think that...
Well, I'm a licensed graduate social worker, so that
Yes.
is very helpful. And you are certified returning citizen. Peer entry?
Peer reentry, yes.
Yeah, so she's certified peer reentry. I am a licensed graduate social worker. So, yeah, I mean, definitely write your questions in the comments below. We would definitely love to take a chance to get back to each and every question if possible. So maybe we can carve time out at the end of each of our recordings to answer some questions and just share with you all some specific knowledge. I know, what should we do for our first topic, our next topic? I'm thinking we should probably do maybe like in the beginning stages of both of our lives.
Okay.
And then just kind of like walk people through and do some comparisons.
Prior to me doing 10 years, I was in and out of jail.
Right.
So it's not just the 10 years that you experienced.
Yep,
you
exactly.
experienced the recidivism of me coming and leaving, coming and leaving.
Yeah. And then same with you and your mother when she was there up until 12 or 13, but you were in and out of boarding homes, and then you ended up getting pregnant with Takia. So, yeah. we should dive in and talk about all that good stuff.
And please understand that our family is still going through things. I mean, we have incarcerated people in our lives, and we're still dealing with this cycle of in our lives. So we're not saying that things are perfect.
Absolutely.
We're just saying that enough people have encouraged us to talk about our story, because it does show courage and inspiration, and it overcomes obstacles that people normally don't get to talk about.
Absolutely. We are by no means perfect at all, so I hope people do not perceive or portray this as us being perfect, but we just feel like we're at a point